content, send it through.
So in other words, sorry, I just needed to put in my words. Are you saying that you
post it?
No. Are you saying that you take the information and that you create like an advertisement from it? Like do the graphics for it?
Little information tidbits.
I don't get it. Sorry.
If you say write a blog post, we can find an image to go in it that's not like stealing somebody else's work.
Okay.
We can load it on your blog. Make sure the formatting all works properly, put the image in.
So you're talking just social media?
Just social media.
Okay. That's right, that's cool.
I mean, in terms of marketing, if you've got the information you want for an ad, then we can contact papers or yellow pages or whoever it is you want and organise for that to be placed.
Yep. Okay.
Those sort of things, it generally involves giving VA a credit card or something like that so they can make the payments. But yeah, like any of that sort of thing.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks.
It's easy for a VA to do. And newsletters, instead of typing up the whole newsletter and formatting it all in MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact or whatever you use, just pass that on to your VA. They can do it, send it off. They can check. I mean, a lot of people don't realise that on MailChimp particularly you can see exactly if, Joe Blow read your email or not and which ones they read, which subjects. So you can drill down and get a lot of...
The monkey tells you all the time.
Yeah.
It does.
Wrong!
And the other thing is that you're keeping on the right side of the spam laws. There was a thing in the paper on Friday about Grays Online. Got fined several $100,000.
Wow.
Because they had something that they were advertising. I think they were saying it was a contest and they sent it out to their entire list. And a lot of people on the list had actually opted not to receive marketing emails. And when it came down to it, it was decided that yes, they were spamming their clients, not sharing a wonderful opportunity with them. So,
What's the difference?
well, that's the thing. If you look at even the Australian Communications Media Authority website, who are the ones who look after that, they say if in doubt, don't do it. We're not even going to define it. So it seems to be on a case by case. It goes to court and it's up to the court.
You get people on LinkedIn that spam their list too.
Yeah.
Right, and that's common. And my definition of spam on LinkedIn would be to send the same email 3 times, right, to 3 different groups and stuff. And so.
Or even the people who send, I'm having a seminar today in
33
New York.
groups.
It's like, why are you telling me? What am I going to care?
Yep.
So yeah, it's really, and it doesn't make people like you more.
I think we're so overloaded in your inbox now that you want to find a flick about getting something you didn't want. Whereas before you just go, delete, and don't worry about it. But if you're deleting heaps and heaps and heaps, you get
Well,
It's more back to if you give permission or you have, so if you've opted out,
Yeah,
it's still in the
yeah.
database.
Yeah.
In this case, they've
Yeah,
got the whole
they
database.
send it to the wrong guy.
I've deliberately kept, because I get lists of people that sign up to be on my email list, and I've deliberately kept everything that I input into my database, because if it ever came back and someone said, where'd you get it from? Or,
Most of these programs will do that for you. It'll come back with a date stamp. You can explain it like it.
yeah, and they show exactly where. But another thing to keep in mind with your email marketing, there's a thing in MailChimp blog recently about ISPs, particularly Google, with Gmail and all the Google Apps accounts, are getting more thorough about how they decide whether your email is spam or something that the recipient actually wants. And it's got to do with not just things like, does it go to their spam box or do they report it as spam, but it's like, do people look at it, do people click on links inside it, do people move it out of their spam box when it actually ends up there. So if you're having a list, if you've got a list and you want things to be delivered, you're actually better off deleting anybody who doesn't
want to
interact with it. Have a smaller list, but get it out to more people.
Is there some way you can send a text of an email and say, can you give me a spam count on this? Because these spam things are based on all these rules, whether it's in capitals, whether it's got links in it, and how many links and all that sort of stuff. Is there any, do you know?
I'm fairly certain there is, because I know there's actually
I've never actually seen one.
a program that you can download, and I had it actually on my Outlook for a while, that tells you what the tone of your message is like. I had it when I was dealing with the solicitor. I got to the stage where a lot of my emails were getting tense. So I put it on for a while just to warn me when I was...
Yeah, so we've had a situation at work where for some, because we're sending stuff around the world, some organisations, like Yahoo Mail, used to automatically just throw everything we sent into their spam box. Others would just accept anything. And I know there's some of the stuff they're doing is lots and lots of capitals, so he puts capitals in headings and things like that, and that bumps up the spam count. And it's got active links, because that's what the email's about. But we just need to try and find ways of toning it down in that score.
Yeah, there's definitely I think it's spam guard, comes to mind, but there's a couple of services like that. But I'm pretty sure, no, Sandpaper or Office Autopilot will give you a score. It basically just takes your email, sends it out to one of these services and comes back with you a score before you send it. I can't remember Aweber.
I think
Mailchimp
Mailchimp
says something
does,
similar as well. So a lot of the big email providers are already linked in with those spam sort of generators or software. And so just as you write your email, it will come up with a score. So yeah.
The hard thing with Mailchimp too is if you've got someone's email as info@, it won't send it. Because when you're trying to download it, even if they've opted into your email, but you can't put them in your folder.
They won't let you add them,
No.
but it will let them subscribe, and then emails will go out.
Yeah, because
So if it doesn't go into
and
your,
I get emails.
into your list,
No,
No,
it's right.
it doesn't. If you do a bulk upload,
yeah.
it won't. Anything with info or admin or whatever. But you can go back and manually add them, which is like tedious, one at a time. Or if like,
So
I
accept that if you do it manually, just not as a download.
yeah,
Ah,
Sounds
okay.
like a job for a VA.
you upload your whole list,
Yeah.
and you get a Word document back saying these are the ones that didn't work. So they can add those ones manually. Or get a VA to do it. Okay, and lastly is where you find the VA. Right here.
Unless it's yours.
But that's the other places where you can look for a VA. I particularly recommend the first two. Like the people you network with and people you know, ask them for a recommendation. Be a bit wary when anybody goes, oh yeah, I know a VA who could do that, because if they haven't used it, they don't really know. But and those virtual assistant networks, the three I've listed, are all Australian, and they all have a certain level of competency you've got to have before you join. So you're not getting somebody who's, never done admin before. I had a friend ring me the other day and go, well, I want to start a business by myself, but I'm not confident to do it in my field, so I thought I might become a VA and just do admin because it's really easy.
Did you hear?
I was so tempted.
So roughly, how much an hour do they range from, and is there like a minimum hourly, like a set? No,
There's not, we all set our own prices. That's like one of the things of being independent.
yep,
Just for example, I'm probably fairly low price because I forgot to raise my prices for about 4 years. I'm $40 an hour at the moment.
okay, yeah,
45 is about, I'd say, probably more average.
yep,
But there are a lot who charge by what they're doing.
Yeah.
So if they're doing something like web related, they'll charge like 75 to 100, and there's some who charge like
See, on
75.
graphics, they wants to charge 90, so
Yeah.
90 an hour and minimum half hour.
As
So,
soon as you go to a web shop or a graphic shop, it's $150 an hour for a
Yeah.
web shop to do any graphics and any network.
yeah, so
I guess it depends a bit on like what you want and the skill level of the person you're asking. Like, I know there's a lot of VAs who charge more to do websites, but they only do WordPress websites with, you know, the existing plugins. To
And
me,
is there-
that's not worth, you know.
Is there like a minimum you need to spend with them, like 30 hours a month or?
No. I mean, I have packages
Yeah.
where, like, if you use 10 hours a month, my rate's only $35 because for me it's worth having
Lots of
money.
Yeah.
Somebody actually pays me. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Upfront as well.
And yeah, a lot of us do have like packages of 5 hours a month, 10 hours a month, but I invoice somebody today for less than an hour, which I don't usually do. I usually just skip it. But, generally an hour. I usually, if you use less than an hour in a month, I'll generally bill you an hour anyway. But after that, it's exactly what you use is what you get billed for.
So you've got a mix of casual work as well as regular hours as well?
Yeah,
So you
look,
can
at
say,
the
well,
moment,
I don't need time for 5 hours a month, or 10 hours a month, but every now and again, might need time for 3 hours.
yeah, look, I do some, and I do some where, you know, I've got one client I did a minute for today because I'm checking her email account. That's basically what I do, and do her newsletters and things. But today, there was nothing in her email account. So it took me a minute to check them all. Another minute to go, hang on, why is there nothing here? Yeah, that's it.
So can I, so you know you were saying that you're not on site, you're a virtual assistant. Someone like me that's got the box full of stuff under here, how does the stuff under here get to you? Is it physically bringing the files to you, to your
Yeah,
house?
yeah.
So where is your locality?
Deacon. But generally what I do with people from around here is meet somewhere like Italy to talk about like what they want and just exchange
So
things.
co-work's really good for that, isn't it?
Yeah,
What is, yes, it's a nice little spot here.
and actually it took me about 15 minutes to get here from Deacon, which really surprised me.
And so
You find that quite a lot of work comes from the whole idea of, as you said before, as simple in the sense you said that we know how to use the software properly. And so many times in business, you've got your area that you know, but there's all this other stuff that needs done, and to go and work it all out is, so you get clients actually because you can actually just manage it all for them seamlessly without having to have the individual working all out themselves.
Yeah, well, I actually have one client who gets me to do data entry, or he runs things like this sort of, but he gets sign-up sheets for all of them, and gets me to type the sign-up sheets into a Excel file for him. That he actually then uses a Filipino VA to ring the people and offer services and things. But he gets me to do the data entry because when people do scribbly writing of where they are or whatever, I know, I'm local, I know if it's, you know, Brighton or which state they mean Brighton for or whatever, so.
What would you say that's the major difference from the local Australian VA versus Philippine?
Honestly, it depends a lot on the Filipino VA. I mean, there's probably a lot of them who are just as good as any Australian VA. But I know the guy that did the talk about them, and this is the one thing that we sometimes get from people who come saying, I used an overseas VA because they were $10 an hour, and the quality on this, you know, I get this list back and it's unusable, so I need to redo it. And the guy that did the talk to this group was saying that you've got to be really on top of the supervision.
Is that Mike by any chance? Is that Mike?
It was,
I have a terrible memory.
Is that like Washworks?
yeah, he's a teacher at Phil.
yeah, no fussy typos and things like that.
I just know, I've listened to Micah Hagan talk about it
He
before.
talked about that.
Yeah,
So
so,
there's another girl, Angela De Palma.
yeah, she works with Mike.
She's a local, and she sort of She's Australian, but I think she runs a
service.
service for VAs overseas.
I've got her on.
She's got some Australian ones, but she's telling me that she was looking for Australian people to do phone calls because
People hang up on.
yeah, a lot of people just don't like getting phone calls from. I don't really care. I don't like
10, 15
when they're
second
Australian.
delay.
I just check.
Now we're time to, okay, so what we're going to do is something that's a little different tonight is we'll keep the questions going in a moment, but we're going to jump into just groups of 3 or 4, whatever you can sort of organise easy there, and you can nominate one person to scribe. And this is a group, about 5 minutes, just trying to write down all the jobs you can think of on your plate or in your business that could possibly be done by an external person, a PA or a assistant. Because the whole idea is we'll get those back in, and I'll write them up on the board, and I'll get the sheets. Because what I'll do is I'll actually scan them in and put them up on the Meetup page as well. And that way, if you guys want to write about this on a little blog as a practice, when you go back, you can take the photos off the Meetup page and use the photos in the blog as well. But also just to get the brain going and see what everyone else comes up with, and work out what things on your plate to actually offload to the day. So if we can, whatever's convenient there, we can 3s or 4s. And if one person can take notes, we'll just break up for about 5 minutes.
I'm already started.
Just try and, just stand up as many ideas, jobs, tasks.
Things that I know that I need someone to do.
And there's the thing about here too is not just individual tasks, but also responsibility. So if there's a particular responsibility in your business that you could hand off to someone, as well as tasks in your office.
What do you do if you have the ad?
Thread about
They don't know where from.
Yes.
Let's go and sleep.
I like the ad.
Well, there are days on
Off that thread.
Yeah.
So we're saying, go ahead, if you want to get a right when you
I get paid.
Data entry, newsletters.
It was just on the thread, I remember the name.
That's
So what was it? But
No, I'm PA at the
Oh,
moment.